Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this Finance and Performance Committee meeting, which will be the last one for this administration. I welcome you all. We do have apologies from Councillor Casey, Councillor Cooper and Councillor Walker. I do know that Councillor Casey and Councillor Walker are very ill with the flu, which I sort of feel a bit guilty about bringing during the Unitary Plan Committee into this chamber, which seems to have had a spin-off effect right through the staff. So, right. And the Mayor and Deputy Mayor and Councillor Darby for lateness, they have been at the Auckland Theatre opening and are walking up as we speak. So they'll be coming up later. Declarations of interest, no.
I move.
Oh, move, sorry. Move. I'll second. All those in favour? Aye. Against, carried. Thank you. And we have declarations of interest, confirmation of the minutes held on the 9th of August 2016. I'll move those. Councillor Close, second. All those in favour?
Aye. Aye.
Against, carried. Thank you. Petitions, there are no petitions. Confirmation, no public input, and we have local board input, and I'd like to invite Michael Wood from Puki Te Papa to talk about the Whare building at Monte Cecilia Park. And you have some guests with you, Michael.
Do indeed. Thank you, Madam Chair and councillors. Nice to see you for this nearly final meeting of the term. We're here to speak about the whare at Monte Cecilia Park. I'm just going to very briefly introduce Matthew and Zoe from the James Wallace Arts Trust, who are going to speak briefly to the case around the whare, which will relate to the report on your agenda, and then I'm going to briefly wrap up at the end. So I'll hand over to Zoe and Matthew.
Kia ora, everybody. We are here to talk about the whare, which is located in Monte Cecilia Park, and our proposal for refurbishing it to create a cultural destination for the Puki Te Papa region. We would like to use the whare to create an innovative multi-purpose facility. This would have a number of uses and would ultimately form a creative precinct for Puki Te Papa. The unique group of historical structures, including the Pa homestead, would create a distinct destination and a cultural hub for the local region. The whare has been on site since the early 1990s. It is an important part of Puki Te Papa history. We would like to extend the offerings of the Arts Centre to create a new chapter where the whare is once again seen, used in the community and as a meeting place for celebration, creativity and culture. The whare would have three core uses, keeping with the history of the building as a learning facility. It would also be used as a function space for private and community events, and the establishment of a local archive and reading room used for celebrating the history of the area and these buildings. The whare was brought on site by St John's Collegiate around 1901 and ever since has been used for educational purposes. The key use of the whare in this new instance would be to uphold the historical significance and extend the facilities to accommodate activities in the Arts Centre that are not being able to currently be provided. Here's a long list of some of the ones that we could use. Primarily, we would use it to house school group activities and particularly messy activities that we cannot do currently at the Arts Centre. It would have a range of uses, including all creative endeavours such as theatre, music and dance activities. The second core use is for functions, particularly community, council and private functions. The whare would fulfil a service to the community that has been intended since the Arts Centre opened. The function centre was a key use that was intended for the Pa homestead when it was originally refurbished, but this was not able to be fully maintained because of some of the parameters that are currently in place around the Arts Centre, including gallery hours. And with the whare being used as a function centre, we would be able to make sure that the function and capacity would be fulfilled and the facility is sustainable. The revenue gained would cover the additional costs in extending the education program in the new space. Education programs are currently being provided for free at the Pa Homestead through the James Wallace Arts Trust, and they would be continued to be offered as such in the whare. And obviously the revenue ensures the whare would remain cost neutral for Auckland Council. We have engaged with local community groups, in particular the Mount Roskill Puketapapa Historical Society, with the hope of the whare being used for a local archive and reading room. This would ensure that the heritage and the history of these important buildings would be displayed proudly. The history is a key driver for visitation at the Pa Homestead, and visitor comments include that they would like to see more of the historical information and archives being displayed, and the whare would be a perfect location for this.
Matthew Wood here. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the proposed funding for capital costs for restoration. At the moment, the whare is...
Just pull the speaker forward.
Sorry.
So you've got it, you don't need to leave it.
Is in need of a restorative restoration. We're looking to make it into, as Zoe has explained, a multi-use facility, and do that through the parameters of an adaptive reuse. The local board has had in its budget $300,000 for the function facility at the Pa Homestead for a number of years. We would like to ask the Finance and Performance Committee that be assigned essentially to eventually to a fundraising effort undertaken by the Trust in conjunction with the council bodies that we interact with, particularly the local board and arts, community and events, to solicit funds from other organisational and private sources. This is not an option or a means open to council on its own, and we feel that the James Wallace Arts Trust is in an ideal position to undertake that fundraising effort. James Wallace Arts Trust would underwrite that fundraising drive to the level of $500,000. This is all budgeted against an indicative elemental cost for the restoration of the building prepared by Stanislaw West and Matthews Architects, which costs that ready for use restoration at $1.242 million. Clearly, we would have to undertake a further business case and some finer costings to scope that project properly, but believe that the ultimate end goal of providing a community facility which meets objectives under heritage and cultural objectives of council, and to add a major facility to the city, particularly in our local ward area. The assurances can be made that the funds will be managed and within the purview and oversight of the council mechanisms already in place, and the relationship documents, leasing documents and funding arrangements that are already in operation between the James Wallace Arts Trust, the local board and the Board of Council.
Councillors, just by way of brief wrap-up, there's an amazing vision about what this whare could offer by way of public benefits, but sitting alongside that is a significant policy problem that Council has. We acquired this asset via a transaction that was commenced by the Auckland City Council, but it's an asset that requires a 7-figure restoration job at a time of real fiscal constraint within the council organisation. It is unthinkable that the building would be removed or demolished. It is the Auckland Isthmus's oldest existing school building, we believe, and has status, significant heritage status. So something needs to be done with the building, and what we have here effectively is the offer of a partnership with the James Wallace Arts Trust to make that happen. that will result in a facility that is financially sustainable with no further OPEX costs to council arising out of activities in that building. So as a local board, we're extremely supportive of the proposal James Wallace Arts Trust has put together. We've worked closely with J Watt over the last 6 years at the Parr Homestead and have absolute confidence that they will deliver what they say that they will deliver, and that they will generally deliver more than they say what they will deliver. So we commend to you the recommendations that are on the report before you today, and are very happy to answer any questions from a local board perspective.
Thank you, Michael and team. And councillors, I'll ask for questions in a minute, but I'm forewarning that we will take this item straight after this. So, Councillor Fletcher.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair, and may I foreshadow that it is my intention to support the officer's recommendations, and in doing so, I really want to draw to this committee's attention. One of the real frustrations is for the local board is that this is a facility that is not just used locally, it's used regionally, it's used nationally. It is one of the most visited sites. People get off, as James Wallace said to me the other day, they get off the cruise ships. They want to go and see contemporary art. And where do they go? They're heading out to the Parr. And we should take great pride in the success. But the history has been a slightly tortured one. With the opening, it was always intended that there be some income flowing from the ability to host receptions and so on. And I think what is being put to you today is a really elegant solution for moving forward. I really would like to commend the work that's been undertaken by the councillor who's been overseeing this. This is Councillor Clough, who's done a really good job. I think that this is one that enjoys, or should enjoy, consensus across, across this council. It is going to be a challenge going forward, but we've seen James already put his hand up, and I think, as we have all agreed on many occasions with a lot of projects, it's going to be about partnerships. This is the first step in terms of establishing a partnership, a fundraising trust, to be able to really optimise the opportunity that exists with that splendid space. So whether it's from an educational perspective, whether you're looking at it from a financial sustainability for the James Wallace Trust and the Parr, whichever way you look at it, this actually makes step. It's just a small step, but it is the local board actually putting its support in behind what needs to happen next. But at some future point, I think we do need to address the fact that this is a facility that ATED should be taking a serious interest in. This is not just about local boards. This is about a facility that is much treasured by all Aucklanders, and that we need to be able to support in a much more constructive way. But this is, just as if you go down to Q Theatre at the moment, the fantastic success of the catering and bar facilities and things, the front of house is subsidising the back of house. I see this as an opportunity to start really subsidising some of the dramatically good educational programs. Any day of the week now you go there, that car park is full. It's full with school buses, it's full with tourist buses. People are really celebrating the facility, and I think we need to start working constructively with them. There are, as Michael said, some eye-watering sums to come before us, but if we can put a trust together, if we can work in partnership with organisations, whether it's Foundation North, whether it's fundraising across the arts and philanthropic sector, we've got the opportunity to leave a legacy for future generations here, and in so doing, we are also really acknowledging the importance of heritage, as has been articulated by Michael. So I think it's a worthy project, and Madam Chair, I support your desire to bring agenda item 13 forward as the next agenda.
Thank you. Councillor, as this is the final meeting, I will be a little bit lenient. That was a wonderful speech to the item, Councillor Fletcher, but I didn't want to stop you in your passion. Now, councillors, I've had 3 of you put your hands up. Is it questions to the local board?
I'd like to make a speech too.
No, you can speak at the item. I just...
Well, Councillor Fletcher just made
Yeah,
a speech.
it was going to be a speech about unexpected...
I've got a contrary view.
It was going to be a question
Ward,
about unexpected costs, but we'll leave it.
Councillor Ward,